most physically fit. I'm the janitor!
Charlie, all you do is take out the trash and smash some rats. That doesn't count as being physically fit. You have to exercise to be physically fit.
Give me a break, guys. The only one that looks anything like they're physically fit is me.
Are you kidding me, D?
Oh, what's up? What's going on?
Charlie's trying to tell me he's more physically fit than me.
No way, bro. I'm way more physically fit than all of you guys, as you can see by my Hulk-like physique.
Mac, if anything, you're the least physically fit.
Oh yeah? Then how come I bike to work every day?
Yeah, but Mac, in your case, biking isn't considered leisure time physical activity. Like I told Charlie, exercise has to be done in your leisure time, outside of work and commuting.
Well, see, I still win because I hit up the gym every day. I like you lazy.
Wait! You guys are throwing all these big words at me. I don't know what anyone mean. I just
They're not even big words, Charlie, and Dennis just explained everything to you, and it doesn't help that you're illiterate.
Whatever, D. I'm just gonna go work out.
Just a bird. It seems to me like maybe some people just don't know what being physically active means.
Well, gang, sounds like it's our duty to inform the public just exactly what constitutes as leisure time physical activity.
Okay, so can you introduce yourself for me?
My name is Paul Patel, and I'm a junior at UIC. I live here.
All right, well, can you describe your commute for us?
Well, I live about 15 minutes away.
Do you use public transportation?
I usually end up walking most of the time instead of waiting and taking the bus.
All right, so does weather affect it at all?
Weather doesn't affect the amount of time it takes to get to class because I live here.
Okay, so in what ways does living here benefit or hinder you?
Living here gives me a lot of time to do homework, study, or be more involved in school-related activities. I don't really believe living here hinders me at all.
Oh, okay. So if passive or active transportation is an option, which one would you do?
Well, I don't have a bike yet because of the season is changing, so my only two options are either to walk or to take the bus. Weather permitting, I tend to walk, otherwise I usually take the bus.
All right, so how does living here affect the amount of leisure time physical activity you feel that you should do?
Well, since I don't commute, I usually have enough time to go to the rec center.
Okay, so do you feel you still need to do extra physical activity though?
I feel like I could do more leisure time physical activity because of the amount of time I don't have to spend commuting.
Can you introduce yourself for us?
My name is Edgardo. I'm a junior at UIC and I don't live on campus, so I have to commute.
All right, so can you describe your commute for me?
Well, I usually drive to school, look for side street parking down Roosevelt.
Do you use public transportation? And if you do, what kinds do you use?
Yeah, I usually take the bus or the red line if I don't work.
How long does it take for your commute, and does weather affect it at all?
The commute usually takes about an hour or so. When it snows or it rains, it adds about 15-20 minutes though.
In what ways does commuting benefit or hinder you though?
It benefits me in that I can develop my time management skills. I have to be efficient throughout the day, so that definitely helps a lot. When I drive, I am a little bit quicker though. It's less stressful because I'm not, dependent on the delays of the train or the bus. However, I do spend less time doing more physical activity stuff.
Okay, now how about when you commute when you don't drive?
When I commute, I feel like I have more time to study or do homework on the train or the bus. I do have to wake up earlier though, and the weather affects me a lot more. I do have to add about an hour or so to my commute as well, but I also do a lot more physical activity doing that.
Okay, so if passive or active transportation is an option for you, which one would you take?
Well, when the roads aren't bad, I would definitely bike to school or to work.
Okay, well, how does your degree of commuting affect the amount of leisure time physical activity you feel you should do?
I usually cover about 12 to 15 miles a day when I bike, going from the red line to school, then back to work.
Do you still feel like you need to do extra physical activity after you've been commuting all day?
Well, after doing all that, I usually feel like I'm done for the day. But since it's necessary commute, I feel like I could definitely do more.
All right, can you introduce yourself for us?
My name's Tony Giordano. I work in the West Loop, and I get there. I usually drive myself every day.
All right, well, can you describe your commute?
So I'm fortunate enough to not have to be at the office at 9 a.m. So my commute usually starts around 9:15. I typically drive about 40 minutes to get to the parking garage that's about a mile away from my work. At that point, I usually don't take public transportation. I end up walking, which is about a 10-15 minute walk to the office.
All right. Well, does weather affect like what time you leave the house or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. If it's raining, I usually have to leave. Well, again, it's pretty flexible when I get in, so I don't necessarily have to leave early. But if I don't, I'll get to work a little bit later, which, because I usually work late at night, it doesn't really matter. So for me personally, it actually doesn't really matter. I don't really have to leave early, but it usually does take longer. It'll take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes longer, depending on the weather and traffic and stuff.
All right. So, in what ways does commuting benefit or hinder you?
Well, are you talking about my specific type of commuting?
Yes.
So when I first started working downtown, I would take public transportation, and it was terrible. For me, in my situation specifically, I was working at a startup. Still am working at a startup company, and I would have to get there by 10 a.m. And then I would work, until anywhere from 7 until midnight, depending on the project that specific day. With public transportation, specifically the metro, it could be hours before another train comes. The service is not as frequent as the CTA or something like that. So for me, I would end up getting stuck at work. If I'm there at 10 o'clock at night and I want to leave, I couldn't because the next train wasn't until 11:30 or something like that. So driving for me really opened up a lot of time.
All right. So, how does your degree of commuting affect you and the amount of leisure time physical activity you feel you should do?
Commuting in general, I don't think really affects the amount of time I have to exercise. Yeah, it's more just my work schedule. I don't think commuting, and no matter what, I would spend, probably an hour a day or more commuting to work, regardless of the situation. So that's, it's kind of just a sunk time at that point.